In this video, we're going to look at reconstitution of topical solutions, irrigants, and oral feedings. Sometimes you're not reconstituting the solution, you're just weakening the solution from full strength or a full concentration to something that is less abrasive for a patient, maybe less abrasive to clean wounds, or less abrasive to someone's stomach for a formula feeding or a tube feeding. So let's get into this. There's three things that you need to know, three words that we use with these topical solutions and oral feeding type things, is we look at what's called solute or solute. I'm never sure how to say that word. It's S-O-L-U-T-E. And this is our, from our order, it's whatever we're using, either our topical solution, our formula, whatever we're using to clean with. And then we have our solvent, and this is generally our diluent, whatever we're adding. Sometimes it's water, sometimes it's something else, just whatever you would use to dilute your original solution with. And then we have our solution. And this is our total amount. This is the amount of our order plus our diluent, or our solute plus our solvent. So when finding these, the doctor always orders the total amount of solution. So that's the first thing I always look for in my problems, is I look for the amount of solution, and then I go from there to find the solvent, or the solute and the solvent. So if we look at the first one, these are the hydrogen peroxide problems. These are our topical solutions or irrigants. You use hydrogen peroxide to clean wounds. Sometimes you use other things, but in this case we're using hydrogen peroxide and saline. So our hydrogen peroxide is our solute, or solute, and our saline is our solvent. So we're going to find first is we're finding our solution. So our total solution that the doctor has ordered in this case is the 480 milliliters. That's how much he wants you to use to irrigate this wound. The order says 400 milliliters of 1/3 strength solution for wound irrigation. So my total solution is 480 milliliters. So from that, I can find my solute. I want it to be 1/3 strength for the wound irrigation. So you're doing 1/3 times your solution. So 1/3 times 480. So you're just multiplying straight across. So 1 times 480 is 480. 1 times 3 is 3. So we're going to have 480 over 3. And when I divide that out, I'm going to get 160. So I have 160 milliliters, in this case, of hydrogen peroxide, and I'm using HP for my abbreviation for hydrogen peroxide. So to find the solute, I'm going to write it up here. To find the solute, it's always your fraction. Oops, I need to write that better. Something happened with my pen there. Let's start over. So solute is the fraction times the solution. My handwriting gets worse as we go. All right, so I know what my solute is, or solute. Now to find the solvent is always your solution minus your solute. So to find my solvent, I'm going to take my total solution of 480 and I'm subtracting my solute of 160. Oops. Can't put it in the calculator, right? 480 minus 160. And I get 320 milliliters of solvent. And in this case, my solvent is my saline. So 320 milliliters of saline. Now, if I'm wanting to find, just to verify, to find the solution, even though it's already given, but we're just going to verify, you're adding your solute and your solvent back together. So I'm taking the 160 of solute and the 320 of my solvent, and that gives me 480 milliliters. So for this question, 320 milliliters of saline, 160 milliliters of hydrogen peroxide, because it's asking how much of each, how much hydrogen peroxide, how much saline. All right, so let's look at the next question. This one, the order is for 8 fluid ounces of 3/4 strength solution for skeletal pen care. So again, my solution, or my solute, is the hydrogen peroxide. My solvent is my saline still. And again, I'm always going to identify my solution, but in this case, my solution is 8 fluid ounces. We want our solution to be in milliliters. So first thing I have to do here is convert my 8 fluid ounces to milliliters. So I'm going to do that as 8 fluid ounces over 1. And then I know there's 30 milliliters in 1 fluid ounce. So my fluid ounces cancel, and I do 8 times 30. That gives me 240 milliliters of solution. And then from that, that's my total solution. From that, I can find my solvent, or my solute. Because remember, the solute is always your fraction. In this case, my fraction's 3/4 times my total solution. So 3/4 times 240 milliliters over 1, if I want to make it a fraction. So I can do 3 times 240, get 720 divided by 4. And I'm going to get 180 milliliters. And this is the HP, or the hydrogen peroxide, because this is my solute. Now to find my solvent, again, this is my diluent, which is going to be my saline. My solvent is my total solution, which is the 240 milliliters, minus my solute, which is 180 milliliters. So 240 minus 180, and that gives me 60 milliliters of saline. And if I wanted to double check, I could just take the 180 milliliters of hydrogen peroxide, add the 60 milliliters of saline, and it should equal the 240 milliliters of solution. So don't overthink these. Know the formulas. And the formulas work the same way whether it is a topical solution irrigant or if it's an oral feeding. So let's look at these oral feedings. And again, sometimes you have patients, whether they're infants, children, or elderly, that will take some kind of formula through an NG tube or an NJ tube, but they're doing tube feedings, and they can't handle the full strength of the formula. So the doctor orders it at a weakened strength, either a fraction of the strength. Same formulas apply. The solute is still the fraction times the total solution. The solvent is still the total solution minus the solute. And then to double check for the solutions, to get the total solution, you're going to add the solute and the solvent together. So this time I want to identify the solute, the solvent, and the solution amounts for each of the oral feedings for the specified time period. So the specified time period will sometimes be one feeding, as it is in the first question, or sometimes it will be all feedings as it is in the second question, or the next question. But let's look at question 3 first. So, and remember, the doctor always orders the total amount of solution for one feeding when it's an oral feeding. So I have 1/3 strength Ensure, 900 milliliters via NG tube over 9 hours. That means that this formula feeding is going to run for 9 hours. It's going to be a very slow tube feeding. All right, so the 900 milliliters is my total solution. So I'm going to put it over here, solution. And that's 900 milliliters. Again, that's 900 milliliters for one feeding. But that's all we need this time. So then I'm going to go and I'm going to find my solute. I'm going to have to change colors. It's all going to run together. But again, it's always your fraction times your total solution. So 1/3 times 900 milliliters. So I get 1 times 9 is 900. 3 times 1 is 3. When I do 900 divided by 3, I get 300 milliliters of formula. So 300 milliliters is my solute. I'm going to change colors so it doesn't always run together here. And then I'm going to do my solvent. And my solvent is going to be my total solution, which is 900 milliliters, minus my solute, which is 300 milliliters. When I subtract that, I get 600 milliliters. So I've got 300 milliliters of Ensure, which is the formula they're using, 600 milliliters of the water, or whatever they're mixing with it to weaken it. And then if I add the 300 milliliters of solute plus the 600 milliliters of solution, I'm going to get the 900 milliliters for my total solution. So your three answers for this one is your 300 milliliters, your 600 milliliters, and the 900 milliliters. And this is all for one feeding. So let's look at the next question. Choose a different color. Okay, so this time I have 1/4 strength isomil, 4 fluid ounces by mouth every 4 hours for 24 hours. And this one is the total for all feedings. So first thing I want to identify on this one is how many feedings are there in the 24 hours. So if I do my 24 hours, I divide it by the every 4 hours. So I'm basically taking 24 divided by 4. I'm going to get 6 feedings. So whatever answer I get, then I'm going to multiply it by 6 to get the total number of feedings. So again, I'm going to start with my solution. So I notice that I've got 4 ounces. It's 1/4 strength isomil, 4 fluid ounces every 4 hours. So I'm going to take and convert my 4 fluid ounces to milliliters. So 30 milliliters, 1 fluid ounce. So 4 times 30 is 120 milliliters. Now this is for one feeding. Okay? And there's several ways you can do it. I'm going to do it this way each time. I'm just going to do the one feeding and then multiply the answers by 6 to get the 6 feedings. So to find the solute, there we go. To find the solute, I'm taking my fraction, which is the 1/4 strength, times my 120 milliliters. So 1/4 times 120 is 30 milliliters. That's for 1. Multiply it by 6. That's 180 milliliters. And that's for all feedings. Okay, so we have 30 milliliters for 1, but 180 for all. Now to go through here and find my solvent, I'm taking my total solution, which is the 120 milliliters. I'm going to subtract the 30 milliliters, and again, I'm working with just one feeding. So 120 minus 30, that's 90 milliliters. Multiply that by 6. 6 times 90 is 540. So that's 540 milliliters, again, for all feedings. So again, the first answer would be the 180 milliliters. The second answer is the 540 milliliters. Now to find my total solution, I'm going to go back to my blue. My solution was 120 milliliters for one feeding. If I multiply that 120 milliliters by 6, I'm going to get 720 milliliters for all feedings. So 720 milliliters is my third answer. If you take 180, add 540 to it, you're still going to get the 720 milliliters. Okay, I'm going to skip down a couple. Try to find another one. Let's look at number 7. The order is for 3/4 strength isomil, 8 fluid ounces, by mouth every 4 hours for 24 hours. And again, this one's for all feedings. So the first thing I want to do is take my 8 fluid ounces and determine what my total or what my solution is for one feeding. So if I take the 8 fluid ounces and I convert it to milliliters, 30 milliliters, 1 ounce. 8 times 30 is 240 milliliters. So this again is one feeding. I want to find what is, then I want to find what is my solute. How much isomil will I need for one feeding? So again, that's your fraction. In this case, it's 3/4 times your total number of milliliters, 240, over 1. So 3 times 240 is 720, divided by 4 is 180. So this is 180 milliliters. Again, that's for one feeding. I want it for all feedings. Again, this is every 4 hours for 24 hours. So that's 6 feedings. So 180 times 6, that gives me 1,080 milliliters for all feedings. So this is the amount of solute that I need, or solute that I need. Now I'm going to look at the solvent. So again, my solvent is my total solution. And again, first off, I'm only looking at the one feeding. So my total solution is the 240 milliliters, mine's somewhere else, minus my solute, which is 180 milliliters for one feeding. So 240 minus 180 is 60 milliliters for one feeding. So then I have to multiply that by 6. So 60 times 6 is 360 milliliters. And again, that's for all 3 feedings. Now I can take, to find the solution, couldn't find my color. So the solution, I can take the 240 milliliters and multiply it by 6. And I'm going to get 1,440 milliliters. So that's my answer for the total number of solution. But I can also add my solute and my solvent together and get 1,440 milliliters here. So those two numbers should be the same. So you can find that total solution by adding your solvent and your solute together, or just by multiplying the amount of solution that you had to start with times the number of feeding. Oh, and one last thing, because this one is kind of, I don't know how many people have reconstituted frozen orange juice, but they come in cans. And when you're looking at the 1/4 strength for reconstituted orange juice made from canned, then it's 1 can of frozen orange juice. I'm going to use OJ for orange juice. And then you need 4 total cans to get the concentration. That's your cans of orange juice plus your cans of water, because when you're reconstituting orange juice, you measure the amount of diluent you give, or the amount of water you add to it, using the can that your orange juice was in. So if I need 4 total, I've got to add 3 cans of water, because 1 plus 3 gives me 4. So 1 can, 3 cans of water. So I got 1 can of frozen orange juice, 3 cans of frozen water, or 3 cans of water, and 4 total cans for the reconstituted orange juice.